Good evening, everyone. We are truly blessed to live in this country, the United States of America. It's a fantastic, great country with so much opportunity. I love this country. I'm proud of this country. This past Tuesday, September 11th, I'm sure we all reflected upon what happened back 17 years ago. And tough time for our country. But I wanted to just take a moment, if we could, just reflect on that, just for a few moments to remember what happened. So, thank you. I thought proper. Chamber annual meeting, fantastic country. The week that we're in right now, that we have invited a singer to come in, and now singing America the Beautiful, Wausau East Junior, Lindsay Smith. Please help me welcome you.
Good evening, and welcome to the 106th Annual Dinner for the Wausau Chamber of Commerce. My name is Corey Heckendorf, General Manager, Wisconsin Kenworth, and the immediate past chair of the Wausau Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors. To begin, I'd like to review the Chamber's mission and vision statements. Our mission: to strengthen our member businesses and enhance our community by building business success. Our vision: we are the region's indispensable source for business connections, opportunities, and solutions. It's been a very exciting year for the Wausau Chamber of Commerce. To best direct the organization's resources, the Chamber has implemented a strategic plan built around 4 themes: talent development, creating a qualified workforce for our members, convening and connecting, creating connections of peers and experts for our members, advocacy, engaging members in a collective voice on topics that impact the business environment, and collaboration, giving members access to a network of local, state, and national organizations to improve business operation. As well as setting a direction, we've also established measures to ensure we are successful in executing in these areas. If you've been to this event in the past, it has often focused on the activities of the past year. While we recognize the accomplishments of the past program year, as well as your support and engagement, this year we will begin a new approach that sets our course for the future and what is to come. The Chamber would like to thank Greenheck, a 70-year member of the Chamber, for their presenting sponsorship of the evening's event. Here's a short video on Greenheck.
Greenheck, building value in air. As life returned to normal after World War II, American industry refocused on pursuing prosperity in peacetime. Bob and Bernie Greenheck of Schofield, Wisconsin, chose to build their own business in their hometown, on their own terms. They purchased a small building in Schofield to serve as a sheet metal shop. Bob, who had an engineering degree, focused on product design and manufacturing, while Bernie applied his business skills to generate sales. They hired their first employee in 1947, and the Greenheck Brothers Company was born. Today, Bob and Bernie's philosophy is captured in our motto, building value in air. It's our commitment to our customers, and it remains the fundamental driving force behind our company's mission and success. Highly skilled design engineers, product development and testing staff, and production professionals at our world-class manufacturing facilities collaborate and innovate to produce the world's top-performing, most reliable, and efficient air movement and control components and systems. Our more than 3,400 dedicated Greenheck employees also believe in making a difference in our communities where we live and work. With a long-standing tradition of financial support and partnership with area charitable and service organizations, schools, athletics, and the arts, we are an important contributor to quality of life for tens of thousands of people.
Preparing for tomorrow. Investing in new technologies, processes, and people.
Improving energy efficiency for a sustainable future.
Meeting increasingly challenging performance demands.
Creating inroads into new markets in nearly every corner of the globe. This is Greenheck today.
From humble beginnings in a modest three-man sheet metal shop in a small central Wisconsin town, to being a world leader in the air movement, control, and conditioning industry. It's a true American success story.
We are innovators.
We are leaders.
We are partners.
We are Greenheck, building value in air.
Somos Greenheck, valorizamos el aire.
Thank you again to Greenheck for presenting this evening's event. Also, a huge thank you to all the evening's sponsors. Platinum sponsors, the Dirks Group LLC and Root Aware LLSC. Gold sponsors, Aspirish, Shank SC, and Wifley LLP. Silver sponsors, Ansay & Associates LLC, Hermanning Financial Group, Ho Chunk Gaming Wittenberg, and Schreier Construction Company Incorporated. Bronze sponsors, E.O. Johnson Business Technologies, Faithful Consulting LLC, Northwind Renewable Energy, Office Enterprises Incorporated, and River Valley Bank. Video sponsor, Lehman's Creative Design LLC. Also, a special thank you to Marshfield Clinic for table centerpieces and the Ho Chunk Gaming Wittenberg for the door prizes, which will be given away at the end of the event. This past year, I had a great pleasure of serving as chairperson to the board. A lot of great board members I served with. I thanked them at the earlier board meeting. I want to thank them now. We also have a great board meeting moving into the 2018-2019 program year. I would ask that the members of the new board stand and remain standing as I read off your name. I ask that you please hold your applause until I finish reading all the names. Thank you to these extremely talented individuals for dedicating your time to the Chamber. Dawn Burnatz, Church Mutual Insurance Company. Cole Bruner, Huska Wealth Management LLC. Carrie Ann Conity, Shank SC. Joanne Drager, Nicolay National Bank. Tom Felch, J&D Tube Benders Incorporated. Ted Fox, Ameriprise Financial, Cornerstone Advisors. Tom Frank, Greenheck. Becky Frisch, Marathon County Conservation Planning and Zoning. Bill Gleason, Honorary Member. Robin Haig, River Valley Bank. Jack Hogendijk, Hope Life Center. Al Lancaster, WSAW, WZAW. Paul Dupree, Mirren Construction Company Incorporated. Daryl Lentz, Aspirus. Yingye Lohr, Faithful Consulting LLC. Michael Loy, Northcentral Healthcare. Alfred Nakla, Associated Bank. Tammy Pesca, Ansay Associates LLC. Craig Tim, Domtar Paper Company LLC. Jeannie Worden, NTC. Nicole Williams, QPS Employment Group. And Jeff Serini, McDevco Incorporated. Thank you very much. Each year, the Chamber asks for support from its members to serve on the board of directors. Companies and individuals step up to provide their expertise and talent in an effort to make the Chamber stronger, help its members' business, and ultimately make the community a better place to live. This year, 2 extremely dedicated individuals will be ending their tenure as directors. Please join me in thanking the following individuals for the many years of service to the community. Don Boleen, Wisconsin Public Service Corp. Kim Fisher, Central Beer Distributor Incorporated. Don and Kim, please come to the stage to accept the token of our appreciation for your service. Kim. Come on, Kim. Please. Don was unable to make it tonight. He has other commitments. Over the past few years, I've gotten to know Dr. Jeanne Worden and have had the privilege of working with her side by side as chair and incoming chair. She is a wonderful person with incredible ability to help people in everything she does. Her spirit, personality, focus, and drive are excellent, and I'm extremely proud to call her my friend. I couldn't be more happy to have her take over the chairperson position, as under her leadership, the chamber board, and the community will excel. Thank you, Jeanne, for all the help this past year. I'm extremely appreciative. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Jeanne Worden of Northcentral Technical College as the new chairperson of the Wausau Chamber Board of Directors.
Thank you.
Thanks, Corey. And as Corey said, my name is Jeanne Worden. I'm Executive Vice President of Student Services and Regional Campuses at NTC. I'm honored and excited to serve as this year's Chamber of Commerce Board Chairperson. 2018-19 will be a year of transformation as we strengthen our member businesses, enhance our community. Our goal is to be your indispensable source for business connections, opportunities, and solutions. The Chamber will provide leadership to economic development planning and implementation. Our business community understands the need for this plan as evidenced by the significant support from area leaders. This plan will provide an economic strategic plan for our region, which will include an assessment of our area and will address business development, workforce development, entrepreneurship, and innovation as a means of promoting economic diversification and stimulating growth. Dave has said several times that this plan will not be successful if it sits on the shelf. It must provide disruptive strategies for our community to grow and thrive. I look forward to this work as we, a community, can rally around a collective economic development plan. You will see a community website that will highlight our community assets to recruit employees, families, and businesses. Our community has a lot to offer, and we need to highlight our assets. The Chamber is only as strong as our members. Each member has different needs at different times of the year. To that end, we will be rolling out a new membership structure, allowing businesses to choose the membership package that best fits their needs. This year, we have a great community opportunity to support the new Aspirus and YMCA expansion, a $40 million project to include a major renovation to the Woodson YMCA and the addition of a new Aspirus clinic. What an asset this expansion is for our community. You will see programming at UWSP at Wausau that meets your needs in the areas of business and healthcare. UWSP at Wausau is partnering with NTC to provide learning opportunities to students in both of those areas. These are just a few examples of the Chamber's work over the next year in support of your business and our community. We are committed as a board and Chamber staff to connect and provide an array of programs and services to meet our member and community stakeholder needs. I look forward to sharing our successes at next year's annual dinner. A lot of commitment goes into serving as the chairperson for this organization, and I'd like to take this opportunity to present Corey with a token of appreciation for his service as chairperson in 2017-18. Corey, you did a great job in leading the chamber. Thank you. Thank you, Corey. I was on the hiring committee that hired Dave Eggman, but prior to that, I was also his instructor for the ethical leadership course as part of his doctoral coursework. I was impressed by Dave during class, and I'm impressed by Dave in his role as president and CEO of the Wausau Region Chamber of Commerce. His strengths include business advocacy, legislative advocacy, convening of leaders towards a common goal, building talent, and moving our region forward. I'm thankful to work with Dave and call him my friend. At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce you to your president and CEO, Dr. David Eggman.
Good evening. First, I want to thank all of you for your commitment to the organization. I want to thank the businesses, the team members that participate in the activities of the Chamber and help us to build a stronger community. Put a lot of time and effort in, and we couldn't do it without you. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for everything that you do and for your support. Now, we're going to get on to the awards portion, the fun stuff. So let's get going on that. It's now my pleasure to announce this year's Ambassador of the Year Award, Ambassador of the Year Award recipient. The Chamber has roughly 40 ambassadors who donate their time while managing their professional careers with a commitment to excellence and sincere desire to serve the business community. You've probably seen them at many Chamber programs and events with their signature red jackets and polo shirts. This evening, I'm pleased to honor an ambassador who has gone above and beyond in their volunteerism with the Chamber. This year's recipient is Cheryl Anderson from Scherer Construction Company. Thank you. Thanks for everything. You go to the PMs, and Cheryl's always there plenty early, and she's helping to do the work. We really do thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Pages and pages. Last year, Ruderware and the Chamber presented the 3rd annual Ruderware Innovator Award. Lane was a good friend of mine. In memory of G. Lane Ware. Lane tirelessly supported business innovators who made Wausau their home. This award honors entrepreneurs and business executives who personify the spirit of entrepreneurship and demonstrate excellence in the way they conduct business. This evening, we are honoring this year's award recipient. To announce this year's recipient, please help me welcome Shanna Yankee, attorney at Ruderware. Shanna.
I had the great fortune of practicing law with Lane Ware when I first joined Ruderware about 6.5 years ago. He was a larger-than-life personality, an incredible role model. Helping entrepreneurs and attracting talent and keeping them in Wausau was something Lane was passionate about. Ruderware created the Innovator Award to honor Lane in his memory and to recognize outstanding individuals who personify the spirit of entrepreneurship and demonstrate excellence in the way they conduct their business. Without the Chamber's help, the award would not be possible. The Chamber graciously provides support to Ruderware to make the award happen by organizing an independent selection committee to review applications and select the winner. I'm pleased to announce that Lorene and Ron Glaman, owners of Vino Latte, are the winners of the 2018 Ruderware Innovator Award. Formerly known as Café Le Grand, Vino Latte was founded in 2000. Lorene, with the assistance of Ron, purchased the business in November 2003. Since the purchase, Lorene has continuously improved and innovated, all while working another full-time job. In the words of Lorene, when selling $1 cups of coffee, a lot of coffee must be sold to pay for 2 large mortgages. Vino Latte has the only wine club in the area, and they boast over 200 members, myself included. From themed tastings and walkabout tastings to Wineversity, Vino Latte does not rest on their success. In 2014, they opened the Weston location, and then in 2017, they moved their Wausau location to the west side. They've grown from a rented old building with 1,500 square feet to ownership of 2 beautiful locations, each verging on 4,000 square feet. Please join me in congratulating Lorene and Ron. At this time, I'd like to invite them to the stage to accept the award.
So this obviously is not Ron. I'd like to introduce Sarah Brock. She is one of my very important managers. So before I go any further with all my thank yous and how shocked I am, literally, I do want to acknowledge my wonderful, wonderful folks who have supported me, including Sarah and my other manager, Sarah Lynn, who is not here tonight. Ron's not here because he's instructing, For those who don't know, we're both in law enforcement. So that is our full-time gig, and the shops bring me to people like you who are great contributing members to society, and that's what we always say. Why we own the business is to bring us with people, in front of people, and to people who are good. So thank you to everybody here. Thank you to Rooter Ware. Thank you to the Chamber, and thank you especially to my wonderful, wonderful staff, and my husband, Ron, who couldn't be here.
Okay, so an organization like ours, we got a lot of moving parts, and I want to take the opportunity, and they're mad at me for doing this because I'm bringing them up on stage instead of sitting there in the back of the room. I want to introduce to you the team at the Chamber, because they put in long hours, they're away from their families, early in the morning, late in the evenings, and the work we do could not be done without this team. So, folks, make your way on up here. Sharon Bauman. Sharon's 30 years at this organization, Special Projects Manager. Where's Sharon? Come on up, Sharon. I could tease her right now, but I'm not going to do it. Right? Yeah. Thank you for everything you do. Jim Gebauer. Come on up, Jim. Jim's Membership Development Manager. Jim rocked it this year. Increased membership, at least from the point in term last year, 34%. You rocked it. Renee can't be here. Renee Krings. Renee is the Talent Development Director. She's at a training conference, getting back late tonight, away from her newborn. Well, Cohen's about a year old now, but still, and her little boys. So Morton, we're a family company. We are a family organization. Family comes first for us. So Renee's at home with her family, back late tonight. Stacy Livernash, Program and Events Director. If you don't know, Stacy lives in La Crosse, so she works that way, employed here, and it works really well. We've got technology. You get somebody like her, you all know this, you don't let them go. You create that culture and that environment that keeps them. Thank you for everything you do. Brian Otten, Marketing Manager. Come on up. This guy's got a sick sense of humor. It's fun. This guy is a lot of fun. Judy Pytek, Member Relations Manager. Come on up, Judy. So, Judy's a casualty of ribbon cutting. So Judy was out at the 4590 ribbon cutting today, out in Poniatuski, and she took a stumble on the 4590 mark, right?
I did.
Smack dab. You can look at a map and find it. Sue Wolkach, Finance Director, she can't be here again. Sue had a family commitment with her daughter in sports, so Sue was here for the board meeting but had to vacate. Thank all of you. I appreciate everything you do. You are so committed to this organization and to these folks out here. Give me a round of applause, please. Thank you. Watch your step. Thanks, girl. I love those guys. So, I'm going to move on now. You heard a little bit about the Chamber, our mission. We live in a society of free enterprise. It's what makes it go. Without free enterprise, capitalism, free markets, prosperity, we're nothing. We will have poor schools, we will have poor infrastructure without a strong and vibrant free enterprise system. So our keynote for this evening is Mike Nichols, president of the Badger Institute. The Badger Institute is a free enterprise think tank that provides in-depth examination of issues facing business and industry. This evening, Mike will share perspectives of free enterprise, free markets, opportunity, and prosperity in the state of Wisconsin. Please help me to welcome Mike Nichols.
Thanks, Dave. Appreciate the kind words and the invitation. Also appreciate the opportunity to sit next to Corey and Jeanne, Mackenzie, and Jerry and Pam tonight. They all have great stories. Jeanne in particular has a fascinating story, and I feel like I'm among friends here in Wausau. I love Wausau. I've got to actually spend quite a bit of time here in recent years. I try to talk to somebody from Wausau at least once every other week, at least a couple times a month. Happens to be our board chairman, Tom Howitt, who's here tonight. Tom's the former chairman of Wausau, president and chairman of Wausau Paper. And another good friend is here tonight, Gary Friels from the Judd S. Alexander Foundation, and they've been good friends to the Badger Institute, so I appreciate it. You guys have a tremendous crowd here. I hope we can get this size crowd at our annual dinner. If some of you guys want to come to our annual dinner on October 23rd, come on down. It's only a 3-hour drive. Dave already said he's coming, so I have lots of invitations in my bag there. I'm particularly happy to be here because what we believe in and what we stand for at the Badger Institute is completely in sync with what the Chamber stands for. And you guys have just an incredibly busy week going on here from what I understand and what I'm listening to. And really what we're getting down to is the question of, hey, how do we prosper? How do we get back to the concept of free enterprise, and how do we compete? And I know that's what the Chamber's trying to do, and it's really what we do stand for at the Badger Institute. If you have not heard of us before, it might be because we changed our name, actually, about a year ago when Dave and I first had some contact. We were the Wisconsin Policy Research Institute. I used to get up and do a few things like this, and people would have a couple cocktails, and I'd say Wisconsin Policy Research Institute, and they were kind of nodded off already. So we changed it to Badger Institute. We are not the Badger Institute, by the way, because of Bucky Badger, because of the furry little guy running around. Do people, just raise your hands, I won't put you on the spot, but do people know why we're the Badger State? Usually I get a few hands in the back. We're actually the Badger State. See if this works, because of the lead miners in the southwestern corner of the state. Really, back in the 1830s, we had a lot of lead deposits, and the folks who lived down there were Cornish, for the most part, and they dug into the hillsides and mined lead, and we thought that was really the way they went about that, what they stood for, perseverance and individual initiative. That's what we believe, and I think it's what you believe in here. So the lead miners, there were a couple kinds of them, and one group didn't have much money, and so they didn't have either the money or the time to build homes. So in the winter, they actually burrowed into the hillsides and lived there. So the other group, the folks who did not stay in the winter, did not burrow into the hillsides, went south, and when they came back, these were the Illinoisans, right? They'd come back in the spring, and they called the folks who were burrowing in badgers. It was kind of pejorative, right? It really wasn't meant to be complimentary. So that's why we're the Badger State. But actually, the Badgers had a name for the Illinoisans as well, because the Illinoisans came back in the spring at about the same time that a certain type of fish would migrate back up the Mississippi and the Rock River and the other tributaries. So we call them suckers. I don't know how many people are here from Illinois, but there are lots of names. I live in Milwaukee now. A lot of names for Illinoisans that we can't really use in pleasant company. But suckers is one of the more polite ones. So I already talked about this. This is what we stand for. I think it's what you guys stand for. There are some differences that I want to touch on later, because what you guys do is way more important than what we do. What's important in America is what you guys do, right? It's what happens in civil society, it's what happens in the private sector. All we're trying to do is to make room for what you do. So we're guided by a belief in free enterprise, which is what you do, limited government, individual responsibility, ensuring opportunity really, and promoting prosperity. That's our mission, that's what we try to do. It's largely through trying to enact policy or prevent poor policy from being enacted, but it's also just creating room for what you guys do, we hope, so that you can help this region prosper. I want to talk I only have 15 minutes, so I probably have about 10 left, so I'm going to zip through this really very quickly. I want to talk about at the state level what we do well in this state in terms of policy to help people like businesses, business owners, people who are taking risks like you, to help you prosper and to make sure that other folks have the opportunities that all of us have had. So I'm going to talk about the good things that are happening, and I'm going to talk about some things that aren't so good that are happening, and I'm going to do it pretty quickly. When you talk to folks about what's great in this state at the state level, this is from the Wisconsin Manufacturers and Commerce Survey in 2015. They're also completely in sync probably with what you guys stand for. I know they are with what we stand for. You ask folks in this state, they'll say, hey, what's great about the state? Sports, commuting time, and safety, right? We don't have much crime. So sports, fantastic, but not always. Now, I had this. I was going to pull this slide out because the Packers prevailed in the second half, and I wasn't sure it made sense anymore. But if you can see up there, I've got I've labeled the Bears there, and Dave told me to leave this in here for Corey. Corey's a Bears fan, so I don't know. So I told I told Corey to pay. You don't have to pay attention anymore to any of this. It's the slide I was alluding to. Okay, I'm going to talk about 3 or 4 things policy-wise, right? People love transportation in this state, and up here, gosh, some of you probably barely have a commute time at all in this area, but the average commute time in this state is great. It's under 22 minutes, even where I live. I actually just moved into downtown Milwaukee, but I used to have about a half-hour commute. So our commute time is great, but we have problems with our transportation system, as many of you probably know who are in business, who are whatever, hauling freight around or moving your products or whatever. Without additional highway funding, you can read it up there, the percentage of our state highway system in poor or worse condition will increase from 20%, that was in 2014, a few years ago, to 42% in 2023. Okay, so we need to find a new revenue source for transportation, and the governor just came up with some. You'll remember in the past week he got some more federal funding. And that's okay. We actually have another project I'm not going to talk about. It's called the Project for 21st Century Federalism. We're trying to devolve power back to the state level, right? We're a state level think tank. So we don't think the long-term solution really for most things in this state is federal aid, because with federal aid becomes a lot of federal control. But anyway, we have some federal money coming. It's not going to last forever. Debt is really not a solution. It's really, we already have more debt than we need. In this state for transportation reasons. You can see the numbers. Yep, up there. Gas taxes, we have 31 or 33 cents, depending how you count it, per gallon gas taxes in the state. We don't think that's a long-term solution either. You think about what mileage is on cars, how much fuel is being consumed. It's less and less every year. Right? We're moving towards hybrid cars and electric cars. Many people are driving less. So we don't think that the gas tax is a solution. So we have a problem with transportation. I'll talk about the solution, what we think the solution is at the very end, but I want to move on to a couple other things. Something all of you will appreciate that we need is an efficient, pro-growth tax system in this state. Our taxes, we used to describe ourselves as a tax hell in this state. We really aren't so much anymore. We actually have, overall, you look at the whole thing, we have a pretty average tax burden overall with all our various types of taxes in this state. The governor's folks will point that out, right? They have made some progress. However, we do have some areas where taxes are very high. Our personal income taxes, our property taxes, our corporate taxes, all very high, inordinately high, and very disruptive for business. So I'm going to talk about a solution for that in a minute too. I'll wrap all this up at the end. But you can see, this is an important slide, you can see where our tax rankings are. Up top, that I think it's a number that says we're 7th. That's actually consumption taxes, sales taxes. Our sales taxes 5 or 5.5% when you add the local, right? The county tax at 5.5. That's really extremely low. We have very low sales taxes in this state in comparison to most other areas, places, states in the country. If you look down the bottom, though, that's 43 means we're almost at the bottom in terms of personal income taxes. We have some of the highest personal income taxes in the entire country, and it's very destructive for growth. And our corporate taxes are higher than some of our neighbors that we compete with as well. So that's another problem. A good thing about the state, we call it Gemütlichkeit, right? We're welcoming, and right now we're welcoming tons of people from Illinois. Actually, much as I pick on Illinois, Illinois is a mess. It really is. And I'm sorry, Corey, but I mean, the pension problems, the tax problems, and so we actually have an influx of workers from Illinois. But there's a problem with small businesses, and I know a lot of you are small business folks, and it's regulation. Not all of you have to have licenses, but I bet some of you do. And the number of professional licenses that are required in this state, it's actually risen pretty exorbitantly in 20 years. This is from 96 to 2006, but the number of license types required by government in this state gone from 90 to 166. The number of people who have to have a license in this state, 370. I'm glad my doctor has a license. I don't know how many attorneys are in the room, but I'm kind of glad attorneys, for the most part, have licenses. I'm not sure that everybody needs a license. This guy, I can back up a sec. This guy right here, his name is Albert Walker. And he moved to this state. He was incarcerated, had a difficult life, wanted to start a business in Green Bay. Great guy, trying to reinvent himself, and actually has been precluded from doing that because of licensing requirements in the state of Wisconsin that require him to hire a manager. They won't let him manage. They won't let him manage his own little tiny barbershop. And my friend and colleague Michael Jarr is here, who thank you for coming. I don't know where you are, but Michael's been in contact with Albert. Is Albert still in business? He is, but he's been struggling. And part of it is because of requirements for licensing that the state has imposed on him. So that's a problem. This one you all know. Look at how low our unemployment rate is, 2.9, one of the lowest in the country. But the flip side of that is, you all know, I heard you guys talk about labor force issues. And very briefly, at the state level, we have a huge pinch coming up here over the next 10 years, and you can see it. It's a little bit hard to read, but maybe you can see it up top that the numbers at the top, the 2 lines at the top, are statewide, but Wisconsin statewide, that's working age 15 to 69 workers between 2017 and 2027, actually going to decrease by about 170,000 in the state. Where are the workers going to come from? In the meantime, the number of new jobs that are going to be created in this state are going to go up by 100 and I think it's 52. I can't really read this very well. It's pretty small, but by 152,000, which means that we have this just enormous gap of 340,000 people, right? Because available workers going down, the workers who are needed are going up. So we have a big problem with workforce, and I'm guessing you have it in this county as well, and I'll talk about that in just a second. I got about 5 minutes, Dave? Okay. You might recall in that slide in the beginning, the other thing that people like in this state is we have a low crime rate, and we do. We have low crime. Look at the slide on the right first. Our crime rate's actually gone down pretty precipitously between 1990 and 2005. Now, violent crime, which is a lot less here than where I live, has remained pretty steady, gone up a little bit. But in general, crime has really gone down quite a bit. It's a good story. Meanwhile, the number of prisoners in our prisons have gone up. From 1990, tripled. 22 or 23,000 people who are incarcerated, most of whom deserved to be incarcerated for a period of time, right? But nevertheless, we have, most of them are going to be out. The majority of them are going to be out. The majority, over 50% of them, are going to be out in a couple years. The problem is that we also have about 70,000 people in this state on supervision. That's a huge number of people on supervision. And 30% of those people are going to go back into the prison system, which we pay $1 billion for in this state, within 3 years. So, again, there's good news and bad news. There's good news on transportation, on taxes, right? On employment, right? on us being a welcoming, hospitable place, on our crime rates. But there's a downside to all of them that is really inhibiting our state from reaching the kind of prosperity that we can have in this state. So I want to talk just for about 2 minutes about solutions, and then about why I'm proud to be here talking to you. I'm proud of what we're doing at the Badger Institute, because I hope what we're doing is going to enable you to create opportunity for so many people and help this region prosper. So the solutions, well, there's a guy, that's at the end of the game, right? I think he's smiling because he's made $180 million. Taxes, we have a tax reform initiative. We're spending a lot of time with the Tax Foundation, driving around the state. We were up here a couple months ago talking to folks who understand taxes, some of whom are in this room. We'll have more on that within the next couple months, but even in a revenue neutral environment, we need a better tax mix, right? Which means we need to bring down our individual and probably corporate income taxes. And there's a better mix out there. So we need a better pro-growth tax scheme. This might be a little controversial. I always get a lot of questions about this. When there are questions, thankfully there's not time enough today, so I won't have to defend this. Toll roads. There is no other revenue source long-term for transportation in the state. Toll roads, talk about a market, right? Solution, right? The people who use them pay for them. And these aren't the toll roads as you guys know of old, right? It's not your father's or your grandfather's toll road, right, where you pull up and throw your money in the bin and half of it falls on the highway. It's very different. It's modern tolling, and we've spent a lot of time on this. We think it's the solution to our transportation problems in this state. Regulation, we're continuing to spend a lot of time, and we're going to continue to delve into how we can roll back professional licensure regulations in this state so small businesses can thrive. Workforce participation. Our workforce participation rate in the state is about 69%, right? That's actually pretty high in this country. It's a lot lower than it used to be. That's the number. It's basically the number of people, the percentage of people who are working. There's a lot of definitions. But even though it's higher than a lot of other states, we think there's room to grow our workforce participation. We no longer have a brain drain in this state. We actually have people coming into this state for the first time in decades. So that's a positive, but we also think there's room to grow around here, to grow our workforce among people who are here and aren't working. Some folks who have been disabled and have been unable to work, but they have opportunities now, and others of whom maybe have a criminal record, right? But deserve a second chance. So that is another pool of people, of workers that we think can help us prosper. So those are some policy solutions, and policy does matter. We think it does matter, but I want to reiterate that what really matters around here is what happens in civil society and in the private sector. It's what you do. It's not what happens in government. It's not what we do. But I hope a little bit of what we're doing is clearing the way for people like you to succeed at the local level. So I greatly appreciate you guys listening to me. If you have any other questions, please, I'll be sticking around. Dave said he'd buy me a drink afterwards, and so I'll be over in that corner. Please feel free to. Please feel free. I'd love to talk to you. And again, thank you for having me and for listening. Thank you.
Mike, thank you for taking the time to join us this evening, driving up from Milwaukee and share your knowledge. I do have to just pause and tell you a funny story. This has been a really hectic week for us at the Chamber, getting ready for this and other things going on in our week. And I'm sitting here at the table, and I forgot all about the Packer game. What a great game that was. And I saw Corey over here, and I forgot Corey was a Bear fan, and I said, Corey, how'd you like that game Sunday? And he was like, rah. So, yeah, you'll never live it down. So, anyways. So I want to wrap this up in about 10 minutes, but I'd like to conclude with some comments, but first I'd like to set the tone for my comments.
Who are we? will we become? We all have chosen our side of the river, or we live a bit above or below the old falls. We all have a team to cheer for, and our favorite fish fry on Friday nights. For more than a century, the Wausau Region Chamber of Commerce has connected all of us to one another. Our linked communities did not coalesce at random. The region was built around a plan, and it is now time for a new plan. A plan which will ensure that the Wausau region is a place our children will want to return to after college. A plan which will bring together business, government, nonprofits, and education. A plan, when executed effectively by partners, which will ensure the prosperity of our communities.
So in the time remaining of this evening's program, I'd like to take the opportunity to share with you some thoughts and initiatives, especially as it relates to Mike Nichols' comments. You were spot on. You threw me a softball, and I want to hit it out of the park. Thank you. I want to talk about the importance of free enterprise, and just going to talk through some pictures here. Our past, our future. This is the Wausau group here. Our community stands on their shoulders. That picture was taken back in 1910. The Wausau group, made up of, they're not all named here, but I'll tell you the prime figures in that. Alexander Stewart, Walter Alexander, Cyrus Yawkey, Actamont Woodson, C.C. Barker, Walter Bissell, D.C. Everest, Judd Alexander, Ben Alexander, the sons of Walter, Neil Brown, Mark Ewing, and others. There were others. If you've not read, I'm going to kind of go off script here. If you've not read this story, we are preparing something at the Chamber that will present their pictures and tell you what these folks did over decades to build this community. Began with lumber, moved to paper, then building regional utilities to meet the demand for electricity. Then it converted Murray Machinery, which was building lumber processing machines, to build paper making machines. They created a company to build electric motors for the machines. They realized a need for insurance for workers' comp. They created Employers Mutual, what was to become a national brand, Wausau Insurance. Look around our community and you find their footprints everywhere. Arts and culture, transformed businesses supporting economic development, the Woodson YMCA, which is poised for a major downtown transformation in collaboration with Aspirus. Think about that for a moment. A community's leader, Woodson, the wealth from over a century ago, helps to develop the YMCA, and a shining new star in a community, Aspirus, a world-class healthcare entity, is poised to partner on a $40 million state-of-the-art health and wellness campus. Think about that. A century ago, today, somebody who created wealth here in this community that still lives here today, to create that, that's private money, free enterprise at work, long term. Sid shared with me tonight that this passed a big hurdle in the capital improvement street maintenance project, City of Wausau. This is a game changer for the downtown community. So here we are today in a rapidly changing global economy filled with disruptive technology, Fierce competition between regions and states. The importance of your comments is how we compete in that environment. We have a shrinking population, which is impacting our businesses, our community. Make no mistake, we have significant challenges in front of us. What are we to do? We as a community can rest on our past and hope for the best, or we can take measures to create a new vision, develop a plan for our future, and create a new Wausau group, develop a plan for our future, create a new Wausau group that leverages the full capacity of every person and business in this community, all of you. It will require all of us working together in various ways to overcome our challenges and seize opportunities. Last year, if you were at this annual meeting at the Hilton, I talked to Jim Wausau right from here, and I'm talking to Jim again. We told everybody at that meeting, this year we're going to set forth to develop an economic development plan, strategic plan for our community. So here's where we're at. The Wausau Region Chamber, Marathon County Development Corporation, McDevco, working partner and partner together with our communities, business, and industry to set a new course of our economic future, to set a new vision for our future. We've engaged TIP Strategies out of Austin, Texas, Seattle, Washington, a firm that has done this hundreds of times throughout the United States successfully. They're working here. We started on this project this week, Monday, Tuesday, in earnest, working with municipal leaders, corporate leaders, developers, and really understanding what our challenges are, what our opportunities are. They'll be back here working again. So what are we going to focus on? I'm sorry, that's coming next. We're going to focus on talent development, retention, attraction, innovation, support transformation of our current businesses, moving level 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4. You have what you have in your backyard. The Wausau Group had all the pieces to build this community. We have all the pieces to build this community. We have to put efforts and support to make those connections and those innovations. They're right here. No easier way to do it than grow your own. That's what we are excellent at here. We're going to enhance our infrastructure as well. We want disruptive entrepreneurship, intellectual property development, things that will transform our economy in the future. We began this process, like I said, this past week. Now, over the next 5 months, our community will engage in a process of discovery and develop opportunities and develop and assign accountability to a plan. You said it. The plan sits in front of us, not behind us. It's open. We use it to guide our strategies at the Chamber. It will be all of yours where it fits, where you can help to support and grow our community. It's going to take all of us to compete. You said it, Mike. We compete. We compete against communities in Wisconsin. This is our time to do this. The other thing Jeanne alluded to, we're going to have employers right now. You know, I talked to Jim McIntyre, talked to Matt Haywood. They're around the country recruiting people. We don't have a website that we really need to have here so that when they're out recruiting, we have that one website that has our message, our vision, our opportunity in one voice. Not a website with hyperlinks. That's not it. This is something very special that we're going to develop. The corporations, county government have stepped forward to fund this plan, to fund the website. We're fully funded and we're going to go. We invite all of you to be part of it. There's going to be places to be involved with focus groups, surveys, things like that. You need to be part of it. So we can settle, or we can roll up our sleeves and set a new course and carry forth what the Wausau Group and many of the business families have built here. You think about this, why do this? You know what that is? Stormy Cromer hat? Okay, Bob couldn't make it. Bob was going to be here tonight. Bob's the owner of Stormy Cromer. Bob's out of Ironwood, Michigan. He's a member of the Chamber of Commerce. He manufactures here in Wausau. He had to go back to Ironwood. He rescued this company. It was down in Milwaukee going out of business. He bought it, reinvented it, took it up to Ironwood. Bob sews. Bob's an expert at sewing these, and he sews canvas for RVs, for the awnings. Bob is here in this community working, and it's companies like Bob that look at things differently, and Bob's sewing for a company, the company's down in Elkhart, Indiana for RVs, does a lot of business. And Bob becomes aware of crystal finishing and aluminum extruder. And what Bob does is make the connection with RVs manufacturers in Elkhart, Indiana, and says, hey, I got this guy I work with up here in Mosinee, Mark. Bob puts them together. What happens? The companies from Elkhart now purchase materials from Crystal Finishing. Bob sews, they install together, package them, boom, out they go. Enhanced value in exporting finished goods. That's innovation, and that's what this plan's going to build. That's an important story because there's more opportunities for that. Why? This is Rich Poyer's son. Rich is the CEO of Church Mutual. He went to Wausau East High School. This is him in his college football gear out east. He's now a doctor, a captain in the United States Army. And hoorah, I'm Army. He gets out in 4 years. He wants to come home. We have to make sure we're building a community for him to bring his family to. Okay? He lived here. We want him to come home. Okay, those people looking for CFO material, this guy right here, this is Jesse Dunsmore. Jesse called me this summer and said, hey, Dave, I could use some help. I live in the Iron Range of Minnesota. I grew up in Oneida County. I don't want to go back to Rhinelander and Three Lakes area. I want to come to Wausau. Can you help me? And I said, absolutely. That's Jesse, his wife, and his 2 kids. He wants to move here. Why we're doing this work that we are going to do in this community is to build a community to bring them back here. This is my son and my daughter, Samantha and Jake. My personal mission, I love this work that I do. I love this community, but my personal mission is to build a community to bring them home. Here. I got my work cut out for me, don't we? They're in Madison. She just graduated. She's heading off to law school next year. Jake, he's a biochem major. They love Madison. We have to build a community to bring them home. That's my personal work. So together, we could fill, all of us, we could fill thousands of faces and names on these screens of loved ones that we want to build a place for so that they remain or return. Just take a moment and reflect on those people in your life. People that have moved away and maybe have the opportunity to move back. Are we going to create that community? Like I said, we can settle, or we can roll up our sleeves, set a new course, and carry forth what the Wausau Group and many of the business families have built here. You know, I glossed over one area. There was a generation in between. And I scrolled over it a little bit fast here. There was a generation in between the Wausau Group. Families. Colby family. Schutte family. I got them all written down here. The Grable family. The Goldbach family. The Greenheck family. The Dudley family. Individuals like San Orr, Lane Ware, Stan Staples, Bart Kellenhauser. You go on and on. This is our time. This is our time. We have to do it. We have to step up and do what these generations before us did. We have to do the work. So, thank you. So at this time, I'd again like to thank all of our sponsors one more time. I'd also like to offer my sincere gratitude to all our members and volunteers. Again, thank you for everything that you do. Appreciate it very much from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.